Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brent with the FSA podcast, where we teach online health coaches how to sell at a higher rate and scale their business with more profit. All right, guys, had an interesting question. Kind of made me think. I've told you guys, the story about who I am, what I do, and how I help people, but I've never really told you guys like the story, the motivation behind what I do, and what kind of drives me to show up every day. And I think that's important to talk about, especially with the market right now. Not even just fitness, just everything online sales. All industries across the entire world, I think, are being affected in not the greatest way. Okay, so I think it's time to dig back to the roots of like who you are and why you started. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys who I am and how I got started and what really turned me on to entrepreneurship, because that question really has been like ruminating and circulating in my head for a little while. So I just want to tell you guys, what's my why? Why do I show up? Why do I put everything I have into this business? And what keeps me going even when the market and when things are like not going as well as they could have or as well as they were previously, right? So, and then the second part of the question was, is the lifestyle, entrepreneurship and the freedom or the perceived freedom, is it everything that it's cracked up to be? And I thought that was a really good question too, because for some people it is, and for some people it isn't. And I want to kind of go into what my experience has been as an entrepreneur, and if I see it as being worth it or not, despite, because there are a lot of good things and there's a lot of stressful things as well. So how does it all kind of shake out? And, would I do it over again? So if you are new to the channel, or if you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button right now. Share with a friend. What we do is we help create custom roadmaps for fitness business owners who want to help people lose weight, get in shape, build muscle. We help online fitness business owners scale their business anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000 per year. We have some up in the seven figures, but it's not something we actively market because it's not something we can always produce a great deal of the time. Sometimes it's they have certain size audiences and certain budgets, but what we can produce is anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000 every single year with a team of 5 people or less. Okay, so if that interests you, if you want to grow an online business, or if you already have an online business in the fitness space and you want a little bit more help and structure getting that up and running, go ahead and reach out on any social media, which are going to be in the show notes right below. So again, the original question, when did I know that I would become an entrepreneur? And that one, I had to dig way back. And I'm not going to treat this as a therapy session, but I do think it's going to be helpful for you guys to kind of know who I am. And maybe, just maybe, you had a similar situation growing up, or maybe it was entirely different. You had entirely different motivating factors, and that's okay too. But the purpose of this is to get you thinking about your why, like I did, so that you can kind of remotivate yourself and realign your intentions and get through if you're in or having a tough time in your business right now. Okay. So the truth is, I was thinking back, and this is what kept throwing me off, is I kept thinking, when did it happen for me? I never really had a lemonade stand. The fundraisers where we would go door to door selling like catalogs, I never really cared for, never enjoyed. Never really had a lemonade stand or sold cookies or really anything. The only form of entrepreneurship that I had growing up was shoveling snow. And what we would do is basically just get our shovels and go around and knock on doors and ask if we could shovel it for 10, 20 bucks. And that was fun, but it wasn't something like, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. This is what I'm destined to do. It wasn't anything like that. And this is where we're going to, and I had to dig in really deep when I started thinking about it. But the reason I became an entrepreneur was for the freedom and for the potential. I don't like having a ceiling over my head. I never have, not a figurative ceiling. Okay, a physical ceiling, yes, I'm very thankful for that. But a figurative ceiling over my head has always been something that bothered me. I never like feeling like I'm in a box. And where I think that stems from, and again, not going into full therapy here, but we grew up in a very traditional home, very small town family, completely blue collar. There were 6 kids. So I was one of 6, 2 parents, 2 dogs. We had Great Danes, and all of us lived in a 3-bedroom ranch style home where we took the garage, and thankfully my father is very handy. We transformed the garage into a master suite for them. So we had 4 bedrooms eventually for 8 people and 2 dogs. So very crammed. When you're poor in a small town, a lot of people know. For me, it burned me. I hated being poor. I hated not having opportunities and things that other people did. And that was like my motivating factor. Because, and by the way, I know this is cliche. I know it's become somewhat diluted in the space with, professional athletes and actors and other business owners. They always have like this crazy rags to riches story. And I understand, I'm fully aware of how that's for athletes and many other people to be fabricated. My resume for being is a lengthy one. Cars repossessed, bankruptcy. We foreclosed on our home right as I was heading out to college. So yeah, we were the American dream. And by the way, college was funded 100% on grants and scholarships. Thank the Lord. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to go. But the one thing that pushed me, okay, and again, this is different for everyone, but my driving factor was that I wanted to carve my own path. The wealthiest people in our town, it was very well known who they were. There was just a couple families and we had one stoplight. So there were a couple families that did exceptionally well, and they're all business owners, every one of them. And I saw that lifestyle. I saw that stability. I saw that freedom. I saw the fact that they were able to kind of do things that we couldn't have dreamed of. And it was that really put me on to entrepreneurship, because they didn't seem like they had this figurative ceiling right above their head. They seemed like they could just go and do things that they really wanted and make things happen. And from that point on, I couldn't tell you an exact age when I began to kind of notice and pick up on those things. But it was every job that I worked, I would just fantasize about how I could do it better than my bosses. I would take notes, I would make recommendations, I would ask questions that they really didn't care to be asked, wanted you to kind of work, especially, when you're young and inexperienced. And so all I would ever think about wasn't so much the job, it was how I could manage the job better, or how I could start a business that could operate better. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'll never know. But that's where like that spark of entrepreneurship really, really, really came from for me, is just thinking how much I dislike being told what to do, having to ask for bathroom breaks and vacations and taking time off early to go to doctor's appointments or anything like that. It just felt like I had parents when I was at any job. And that just bothered me so much. And I was just like, this is not me. I can't work in this environment. And so as a result, it actually made me quite sad because I had a lot of friends in different jobs, especially as a nurse. They enjoyed showing up, putting in the work, punching the time clock, going home, maybe having a day off, then going back and doing it again. And I had so many people around me enjoyed that lifestyle. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I hate this. I hate punching that time clock. I hate being told when I can and can't go home, or what I have to do, or when I can and can't go to the bathroom or take lunch breaks. It bothered me so much, and I thought something was wrong with me. So we actually started a business right like towards the end of college into my first year as a nurse, which failed terribly. I think I've told you guys about this in the past. It was called Prepack Monthly. So it was a monthly subscription box when those were blowing up, like BarkBox and all those different things. I don't know if they're still around to this day, but it was during like the height of that. And it was assortments of pre-workout. So you could go onto our website, which we had custom designed, and you could pick out 30-day supplies of pre-workout. So you could have different pre-workout for different days, like low stem for, not as intense days, high stem for leg days, and super intense days like that. And so you didn't build this like caffeine dependence. And then you could also do different flavors, different variations of like the extra stimulants if you like that on certain days. So it's a really cool idea, really cool concept. Ultimately, it was a fulfillment nightmare, packing up dozens of boxes to specific individual orders. And to be frank with you, I just didn't have enough time to really make it happen while being a nurse. So I went back, got my MBA. That was not free to me. That wasn't with grants or scholarships because I was making money as a nurse. So I did spend about $50,000 out of pocket because I didn't want to take loans for the MBA. And basically I was just spending all my nursing money working overtime, paying off the MBA. And then basically that took me into a job as an organ recovery coordinator. When dead or dying people want to donate their organs, I would be the person that the hospital would sign over care of the patient to my company or the company I worked for. And we would get them ready and prep them for organ recovery. We would go to the operating room. We would help the surgeon recover, put them, package them, flush them obviously with all the fluids and preserve them, put them into specific packaging, and then ship them around the country for life-saving transplants. So I did that while getting my MBA. Now I'm getting like into the weeds here. And that is around the time that I created C4F, my second swing at a business. And maybe you guys have felt this, but you're probably noticing a trend. A lot of owning a business is doing things that you're absolutely terrified of doing and high stress. So if that's not what you're into, owning a business probably won't be your most enjoyable experience, just to be fully transparent with you. So anyway, I helped Brooke scale her business. If you guys haven't heard the story, I feel like I tell it all the time, but I'll give you like the 2-minute version. I was doing organ recovery and working on my MBA. Brooke was building her business because she was braver than I was and was actually building a business, something I only dreamed of, but she wasn't really moving. She was stuck at 2K. She hired 2 mentors, 12K in debt right before she shut her business down and became an assistant coach. I convinced her to let me take a sales call. That was a 12-month PIF, 3 or 4,000, I can't remember. And then I started selling for her full time, and we scaled her business from 2K a month to 12K a month. We put it all back into ads, and then we got her to 50K per month within 4 months. So that was amazing. I did that while working as an organ recovery coordinator and getting my MBA. I was also helping scale her business, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I loved sales. I fell in love with the entire client acquisition process. I became obsessed with systems and processes. Graduated with my MBA, quit my job as an organ recovery coordinator, and I went full-time into business. We started C4F. We launched June of 2021. We launched 6 months prior, but I was selling full-time. I didn't start helping other people sell and build their businesses until June of 2021. So I had about 8 months of experience leading up to that. That was terrifying. I remember when I quit my job, I had so many emotions going through my body. I didn't know what to do. I was like jittery and kind of shaky, had a panic attack, which wasn't great. So didn't love that. And I remember just telling Brooke how terrified I was because, as the man of the family, when your girlfriend's business is doing very well and then you're just starting and you no longer have an income, it's very, very scary. We just bought a brand new house in the suburbs prior to that. So I had financial obligations, but thankfully, when we launched C4F and like the business coaching and sales coaching aspect of it, we collected $33,000 month one. $33,000 for me. I mean, back then, insane. I couldn't even like a failure, right? Because you have one business fail and you start to wonder what everyone around you is going to think when you start another business, like, oh, here he goes again. Or at least that's the thoughts that were in my head. More than likely, people didn't even give a shit, right? But I didn't want to be known as like that guy, the serial entrepreneur that picks things up, puts them down, fails at them. So thankfully, month one went great. Month two, all the anxiety was doubled or even tripled because it's like, can I do it again? Thank the Lord, we did it again. We collected, I think it was 36, then 42, then 75, and so on and so forth. In that first year, guys, that's what this little thing is back here. And I am very proud of that. Some people think it's cheesy to kind of have it back there or kind of cliche. I'm very proud of this. So in year one, we hit 1 million in top line revenue. So ClickFunnels sent me this fancy little award that gets its very own little dedicated light. I'm proud of it because I did something that terrified me. I took a leap of faith, a real leap of faith that I now have. Thank the Lord above. But having those thoughts kind of always looming in the back of your mind makes things 10 times scarier. It makes you feel like you always have like this weight on your shoulder to produce. And I keep saying it, thankfully I produced. Okay. So if you're in your business or maybe you're in those early phases, when you're backed into a corner, I mean, it's fight or flight. I would pick fight every single time. So continue to push through, continue to fight. The market is admittedly not as opportunistic, the downturns and the pinches during, in the markets. The other question, I think you guys probably know how I'm going to answer this, but it's like, is it all worth it? Is the lifestyle what it's cracked up to be? And so I think back as a kid, right? Seeing the wealthy families, seeing how they were able to afford things and do things and have the nice homes and do all of that. And I think now, is what I do worth it? And I ate 10 times over, 100 million times over, infinity. Okay. It is worth it. Every ounce of stress and fear that I've ever felt, all the anxiety and the, something I didn't even really know that I dealt with was like having occasional panic attacks where it would just like, just hit me like a ton of bricks. It doesn't happen often, really hardly at all anymore. But that was a lot of what I dealt with in the beginning. It's all worth it. Talk about all these different things that I dealt with. Yeah, it's all worth it. Everything. Just little things. Like when I go play pickleball each day, a lot of people will ask me, they're like, what do you do for work where you're out here every single day for 2-3 hours? And it's like, I make my schedule. Or people ask me, hey, do you want to, for instance, I have like 5 flights to book. A friend asked me to go to Hawaii this summer. And it was just, yeah, sure, I'll go. And that was, I mean, obviously there's planning involved with it, but that was it. Another friend asked me, do you want to hike Half Dome and do the cables we're going to put in for a lottery in Yosemite anywhere between August and like October? And I'm like, any dates that you can't make it? No, I'll make it. Just let me know when. Give me a few days heads up. So those things are priceless, absolutely priceless. Bachelor parties, flying out to weddings around the country, spontaneous trips to go see clients, and again, all the past year and a half that we lived on the road, all of it is priceless to me. I'm able to make a schedule. I'm able to do the things I enjoy. I play pickleball every single day. And I know I bring that up so often, but like that's something I like to do. And a good life is doing things you enjoy every day. Okay. No matter how small. And so if you enjoy crafting or painting or knitting or whatever it is, no matter how small, if you can do something that you enjoy every single day, that is a good life, a life that you can look back on and be proud of. And so for me, I'm able to take the trips, I'm able to travel, I'm able to have the time freedom and the financial freedom to be able to do that. And by no means, please do not take this as me bragging, the most humble and thankful person you will ever meet. I'm here to tell you that it's worth it if you continue to fight and if you continue to be innovative and pivot when necessary, make changes as necessary, and make quick action. That's one of the biggest things that got me here was I take quick action and borderline obsessed until I have projects done. So yes, it was 100% worth it. I can structure my day in a way that's conducive to my happiness, conducive to the betterment of Brooke and I's relationship. I can see her for lunch every day. I see her at the end of the day. I can spend some time together. Every weekend is spent together. So from the relationship aspect, it's great. From a stress standpoint, it's stressful. I'm not going to lie. I also don't want to paint the picture that life is perfect and every second of my life is just amazing and I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. I still have obligations. I still have stress. I still have anxious feelings. I still feel confused. I still scratch my head sometimes. I still sometimes have a tough time deciding which direction to go or what to do with certain things. Like that is normal. It's just the balance of having that and then also having a lifestyle that you really enjoy where you can do the things that you want. You still have that fulfillment at the end of each day. If you are going to bed each day and you don't have that fulfillment or you don't feel proud of what you got done, that's when burnout will set in. That's when you'll start questioning if this is actually right for you or if you should be doing something else. If you're to that point, I think you need to, hopefully you've listened to this podcast and maybe you can start taking some notes. Write down where did your entrepreneurship journey start? What were your motivating factors? What was your childhood like? What did you want then that maybe you have now, or maybe that you're getting closer to? What is moving you and pushing you to actually be a better version of yourself each day? For me, it was just, again, I wanted to prove everyone wrong. I wanted to prove everyone wrong that I ever grew up with. I wanted to prove myself that, I was capable of building that stability and that financial freedom. Fight those demons, guys. Keep showing up for yourself. This wasn't meant to be like a big David Goggins speech or like a life talk, but I think it's important every now and then. And I hope that you guys now maybe have a better idea of who I am and why I take scaling other people's businesses so seriously. If you ever were to invest in C4F or into me, I don't take that lightly. I know the anxiety and stress that you're feeling when you hand over cash to my business for support and for guidance. So I don't take it lightly. It doesn't just get tossed into like some account and then I send you off to someone else from the team and I never see or talk to you. Like I am in your business helping you build exactly what I built for myself and so many others. So again, guys, if you guys are ever interested in learning more about me or who I am or how I scale businesses, just reach out on any social media. Again, that's in the show notes below. I hope you guys enjoyed this and I hope that you guys keep pressing on.